Hello everyone, I'm Brian. Today I'm going to be reacting to India Poor and American Poor, a shocking difference. Carolina Goswami, I believe. I don't think I said it right. Hopefully I did. If I did, that's great. Okay, so this was a request. It's a request. If you have a request, please leave it in the comments below. Please leave a link to the video too, so I know exactly which one to react to. So I can't speak much of the Indian poor. Obviously, I've never been to India. I can't exactly speak too much on the American poor as well because I can speak on some, but I've not seen necessarily many. Well, what is poor though? I consider myself kind of poor, but I have a roof, a car, job, I eat food clearly. But like, does it mean like the street, like homeless? That's a different story. Homeless and poor are, in my mind, two different things. So I don't know what she means by Indian poor versus American poor. There are a lot of American. Now, before I get started, all of this stuff, I want to get out what I think about poor in general. So there are a lot of Americans who are poor but have a house, eat plenty of food, has cars, but just have no savings or very little in savings. So poor is a. I'm gonna watch the video and find out what she means by poor. There are many different meanings of poor in my mind, so let's find out what she means by poor.
You must have heard a sensational story of the deceased Indian millionaire, a beggar from Mumbai who left behind certificates of fixed deposits and some cash. How strange is that?
No, I've not heard
India
that.
and America. One is a developed country, the other one is still a developing nation.
And my home nation, I would not even consider it to be developing yet. In one of my video reactions, one of the first or second one that I did, there was a lot of dislikes to that one, and I was wondering why. I let my friend watch it. I kind of understood why, kinda, but as I read some of the comments, the more productive ones, there's a negative connotation to third world countries. I don't mean it in a negative connotation. I just mean it in terms of developed and undeveloped, or developing as well. And I guess we came up with this term in the second world nation, which is developing countries. It's halfway between, I guess, first and third world country. My country is a third world country. One city is developing in my country, if that. Last I remember when I was there, when I went to go visit my family, it's still a mess, but it's developing. I'm happy about that. Even though my country is a third world country, doesn't mean people are trash over there. Doesn't mean my country is trash over there. It's just it's not developing. That's all. So I think a lot of people took offense to that. So I guess a better reference would be a developed country, a developing country, and a underdeveloped country, which would be my country. I don't know what to call it. India is a developing country for sure. And a lot of the cities in India, from what I've seen, are very much very developed. But I guess she still classifies as developing. I don't even know what's the requirement to be developed in developing countries anyway, but I kind of get that general idea of what it is. Let's go ahead and continue on before I ramble on too much.
Unfortunately, homelessness, slums, and poverty still exist in the two largest democracies of the world.
Absolutely.
However,
Oh, and if you want to watch it, it's going to be in the description below. I'm going to be pausing some because I don't think it's fair to just watch it unpausing because she definitely deserves the views if you haven't watched it yet.
there is something that makes Indian slums unique. No,
Honestly, that actually looks like my home country actually, and a little bit actually better. No, about the same.
I'm not talking about the beggars anymore. I want to tell you the shocking difference that I have personally experienced while visiting the poor neighborhoods in the two
Okay, so
countries.
it's good that she talks about her personal experience in visiting different areas. So mind you, India is a very big country. Different neighborhoods treat people differently, probably. In America, it's definitely like that.
The
Again,
first
I honestly can't speak too much about India. I'm just making assumptions here. Same with America. I've not been everywhere in America.
difference is people.
Yeah,
Happy, friendly, and joyful people. In Indian slums, you can find them everywhere, all the time. On the other hand, in America and also in many other Western nations, you tend to find anger and unrest when you visit the poor areas.
probably true. I'm not exactly sure where this is at. Although I will say I can speak from my experience as well. about the poor in America. Very limited. I'll get to
I
it when
have
if it
personally
comes up.
experienced this. You do not see the smiling children who will come running towards you to hug you or to play with you.
That's a little bit of a big difference. I think she's comparing. Let me see.
Instead, you see anger on people's
We'll
faces.
see about it whenever she talks about it a little
Does
bit
it mean
further.
that Americans do not know how to be happy without money? On the other hand, in India, random strangers in the slums have hosted me and cooked for me.
I think it's a little unfair, maybe. Again, my country's like this, but I would not consider them necessarily homeless. Where you're looking in the America scene that she's showing was really homeless people. They don't have homes. While here, I assume they have homes because there's no tents. They're not sleeping outside. They're sleeping in houses. Again, even in my country, people. I want to. Actually, I live like this. Actually, this is looks like my house. Actually, um, we're happy, smiling, and all the same thing. Again,
They
I can't
showed me
speak
an
too much.
immense generosity that I will never be able to forget. Many Western tourists love to photograph poor Indians. This is something that happens all the time, and quite often, most Westerners do it without asking for any kind of permission.
I guess that might be like I don't know. It is kind of weird, I'll say, to take pictures of people, but there is a well, I don't know. I'm not too sure in the laws, but if you're in the public area, you have no expectancy of privacy because you're in public. But in your own house, you have absolute expectancy of privacy. I don't think that plays a role. I
On
think
the
it's
other
just
hand,
it is
have
weird.
you ever tried to walk in the American slums with a camera, taking pictures or videos of the poor?
No, no, no. That's a crazy. That's
You
crazy for
better
sure.
not. Our friends and well-wishers warned us not to go to those areas with a camera. There can be serious safety issues.
Yeah, so what she's looking at is actually just tents outside. These are different from buildings. So I don't know if she's necessarily comparing apples to apples, but I'll agree with her. Yes, people like that. Again, people in my country are very similar to that, are pretty much friendly, and these people aren't necessarily in houses. But yeah, I mean, she ain't wrong
Why
about
are the
how.
poor areas in the Western nations perceived as
Yeah,
dangerous?
she ain't wrong about those
Is it
things.
about drugs and crime? I was told that there are places in America where even the police do not feel very comfortable going. Forget about women's safety. On occasions, even men do not tend to feel very safe walking in American slums.
But it's a little bit different though. Again,
It is something that
I'll
isn't
just.
impossible to do, but is definitely not recommended. If you go to an American slum, you can find people that are unemployed, drug addicts, beggars, and even criminals who are on the run.
I'm sure.
The situation appears to be different in India. It doesn't mean that slums in India are crime-free, but Indian urban slums are definitely more like informal settlements which provide the migrants from other parts of the country an opportunity to live cheap and save money.
Again, the thing I'm comparing is the fact that these are actual houses, though. Unless if these are not houses, then you guys are living a lot better than what I did in my home country. In my home country, these are our houses, literally, with tin roofs. So, and when she's comparing to America, she's comparing it to people living in tents that are living in the streets, really. And those tents are probably provided by government or the people, feel sorry for them. But it's still somewhat true what you're saying, even in poor neighborhoods where there are living in much better houses than this, are still relatively unsafe. So she isn't completely wrong, or she's comparing, I think, two different things a little bit, in my opinion. But even if you were compared to, say, poor areas in America, it's still relatively unsafe depending on where you go. Because you can go to America in a poor area and it's very safe, and you can go in a different state of America and it's completely unsafe. Even in a decently good part in America, could be still unsafe. Again, this is my opinion. None of it's necessarily a fact. It's just what I think might be true.
Many residents in these Indian slums live there only temporarily until they are able to grow enough in their career to move out.
So she's talking about how these people have careers where the homeless people here have no job whatsoever. So I don't think she's comparing apples to apples necessarily here.
These slums in India are massive entrepreneurial hubs. Mumbai's Dharavi is a good example. It looks like a self-created special economic zone. The recycling industry, pottery industry, textile industry. A simple walk can expose you to thousands of single-room factories. Hardworking, simple people whose products are even exported to other nations. The annual turnover of this Indian slum has been reported to be in the range of $500 million to $1 billion.
I can't. I mean, I'm sorry. This reminds me of home.
As
Again,
far
I'm
as
sorry. I'm sorry. I can't say what country I'm from, but trust me, this is home right here.
health and sanitation is concerned, the situation is bad in both American and Indian slums.
Well, anywhere there's poor, obviously, is going to be bad for sure.
In particular, San Francisco streets are suffering from an unfortunate poop crisis.
Poop crisis. Yes, I heard that recently as well, and I'm glad you brought this up because this is where I can personally come in with my personal experience. I remember going back home. I flew around the states, and one of the flight that I took, not necessarily back home, but when I flew out, actually, we had to stop over in California, and I thought I'd take the red tour bus, which was to go explore in California because I hardly ever go out, hardly ever travel, and it's an opportunity to finally go see some of the states. I'm stuck in one state and I can't go visit other places because I don't have necessarily enough money, or I have to save up a couple of years worth to be able to do this. And I did go to California. I did go to Los Angeles. Took the tour over there, and the streets smelled like pee, which was very strange to me because when you think about California, you think about like really nice things, like rich people and all that. You figured everything would be nice, but no, there's a lot of poor people out in the beach, sleeping in sleeping bags. I'm like, I felt even going in those areas where there's still people out, I still felt a little unsafe. Not for well, for me and for the people that's with me. That was very strange because in the state that I live in, it's a poor state, but you don't see too many homeless people. You see them every once in a while, poor or homeless. Um, but it's not. I don't know. Maybe because it's a smaller state and it's a smaller state that there's not many homeless people. I'm not sure, but California is a huge state. There's a lot of people there, and there is just a lot of homeless people there. And yes, I saw this and I couldn't believe it, honestly.
To fight the problem, the city officially started a
Poop
poop patrol
patrol.
task force in
Such a
2018.
weird way to say that, but
To
yes,
fight the
it's
problem
terrible.
digitally, a tech guy even started an app called Snapcrab, but the poop crisis in San Francisco still continues.
And I hear a lot of people are actually leaving California. I don't know if it's related to this or not, but it's I hear a lot of people are exiting California. I don't know what the reason are. I'm assuming this is part of the reason.
While the administration in India might have broken several world records by constructing millions of toilets in a short period and are now striving to bring a behavioral change in Indians, the situation in San Francisco is going from bad to worse.
Again, she's talking about one of the 50 states, and I'm sure there is. I'm not sure. She points out San Francisco a lot, but I have a feeling maybe New York City also has a homeless problem as well. That's in the far eastern side of the United States. San Francisco's the far western. I'm not sure if New York City. I'm sorry, New York City has a homeless problem. I don't know if they're also having the same problem or not. I don't know if this is exclusively San Francisco or if this is also New York. But I
More
think
and more
those two
human
have.
feces are being spotted on San Francisco streets every year, and many will likely just go unreported. Among the reported ones, just in 2018, there were more than 28,000 poop sightings.
I'm sorry. Poop is like a child thing that you say. Anyways, I was gonna say something. Crap, I forgot. Oh no, I don't know. Let's continue on. Sorry.
When it comes to healthcare, things can be extremely difficult in America if you do not have at least 1,000 US dollars with you, an amount that is usually required to be paid if a person wants to be able to use their health insurance. That is why even those Americans who have health insurance often find it difficult to take advantage of the benefits of their health insurance. It was found that half of all insurance policyholders in the USA face a deductible of at least $1,000.
That's, I think, true. I think since I work, I do have health insurance. I think you have options to choose what you want your deductible to be. Basically, something that you have to pay, and then the insurance will cover a percentage of what's after the $1,000. If you pick that one, you're going to be paying less per month for your health insurance, but your deductibles may be a lot higher. If you choose to have, say, a $500 deductible, then your insurance per month is going to cost a lot more, but your deductible is going to be a lot smaller. That's as far as she went. I won't go any further in other things yet. Let's see if she brings it up, and I'll try to.
$1,000 is already too much for many Americans to have in their bank savings.
I will say this about Americans. Not again. I don't know if it's the majority or minority. I think it's the minority, maybe even the majority. I'm not sure. There is an issue. Well, again, I don't know what percentage of it. It's the fact that they don't know how to save. They just spend their money. They have opportunities to save, but they're they're kind of irresponsible, I suppose. Not all. Again, there are some people who are actually trying to save and not making that much money. But generally they have roof in the car, but just they're using their paycheck to I guess they call it living paycheck to paycheck. Basically, their paycheck goes to their house, their car, their bills, and food. But at least they're living, and they're not really saving very much. Hopefully, that's an opportunity for them to better themselves, maybe advance up in their jobs. But everyone's situation is different.
In 2016, a survey by Go Banking Rates revealed that 34% of Americans have no money in the bank, and 69% of Americans do not have even $1,000 in savings.
I don't know if that's true, but I'll assume that she's telling. I don't think it's necessarily that high, but I've not done any research on that.
India's national healthcare program is a work in progress. In 2018, India launched an ambitious nationwide scheme which is said to be the world's biggest government health program and is expected to transform India's healthcare system. When it comes to the overall lifestyle in different budgets, nobody can beat India. While the American homeless are often seen eating bread or junk food, the poor in India can eat fresh, healthy food in various low-budget restaurants that are spread everywhere in various locations. In the West, poor people are seen buying second-hand clothes.
I don't necessarily buy secondhand clothes, but I buy like really cheap clothes. This was like, I don't know how much it was. Maybe no more than $5. About $5. I look for those kind of deals, and it lasts for a long time. I take good care of them. I'm very much a deal shopper. I'll say one thing. I remember I watch a few things in America. There is one store that I remember was very brilliant, was very kind and nice. There's this pizza place that sells pizzas for $1. $1 gets you a pizza, and what you could do is you can pay another dollar and put a little sticker of a pizza on the board. And what that does is that if someone comes up there, they can grab that pizza sticker and give it to the guy, and they'll give them a pizza. Basically, you're paying for someone else's pizza. That was really, really cool. I thought that idea is amazing, and I'm sure there are many programs, private and governmental, that will assist the poor. I've never really researched into it, but I know there are a lot of donations, especially from the rich. It benefits them in many ways, but it's a win-win situation in my book.
In India, poor people can buy brand new clothes that are available for extremely low prices.
I don't like going to secondhand stores for clothes. I don't know why, but $5, man, I can't beat that. I'm a deal shopper. I'm terrible.
The poor in India can even travel all over the country on trains. They can watch movies in cinema halls and do many things that the richest do while being on a low budget. And this is because in India, all types of lifestyles for various budgets are available.
I think that's pretty much the same for America. I mean, I will tell you this: cheap food in America is not good for you, but you can eat cheap. And cinemas are not. We complain about cinemas being very expensive over here. I don't know how much it is in India, but over here it's around. I don't know what it is now after COVID. I haven't been in a while, but I think last I remember for a ticket was around $6 to $8, and then once it gets past a certain time, it's around $9 to $10 a ticket. So convert that and let me know if that's expensive or not. I'm curious.
In the West, the minimum price for several things are already out of budget for many.
Not really.
Whether it is
I don't. If you go to California, yes. She keeps comparing to California. She's specifically targeted California. California is expensive, retardedly expensive place to live. Everything there is just so ridiculously high. And don't get me wrong. Actually, what she's about to say next is kind of true.
train ticket, house price, rentals, good quality food, fresh fruits and vegetables, or even clothes, they are out of the budget of many.
So I will say I don't think she's comparing to America. She's comparing to California. Fair enough, though. If she says India versus California, now is that true all across America? I don't think so. There are these are what she's comparing to tends to be like the big cities in United States, which are in fact very expensive to live. Rent is ridiculously high. House prices are ridiculously high. I will say in general though, good quality food and fresh vegetables, anything healthy in America is going to be a bit more expensive than unhealthy stuff. That is very much true across America. Unless maybe if you live near a farm, I'm not sure. Like if you live near a farm, it doesn't take that much money to transport. The transportation is what's really expensive too. That increases the prices of food. If they have to bring something from the west side of America to the east side, the amount of gas it takes to transport that product across America is going to increase the price. That's another reason why things can get expensive. But if you're right next door to it, I think it's relatively cheap actually.
God forbid. But if tomorrow you became poor, where would you wish to be? In
It all depends.
India or America?
There are many programs in America, I just don't know what they are. I will say the thing that's kind of bad is the fact that if you do become poor or whatever in America, if you don't do your research, there are probably many programs out there to help people. Let me let her finish up before I state more stuff, just
As
in
a
case you want to skip my
concerned
reason.
global community, we should appeal to both nations to work hard in an effort to eliminate poverty and
That
homelessness.
should be across the world and not just India or America.
See you again.
Okay, so um, so a lot of things she said is absolutely true, but she constantly at least the videos that I see she's showing is all in California, not any of the other 49 states. Um, while I don't doubt her to be true on a lot of those things, because it is very much true in California. California is a ridiculously expensive place to live. Really expensive. The state that I live in is, well, it's a poor state, so everything's the cost of living is a lot lower. So if you look at cost of living across all the states, California, New York, all these big estates are expensive, ridiculously expensive. I don't think, but sometimes the pay that you get over there can compensate for it, especially in specific cities in California and New York. I'm sure, like to live in San Francisco is expensive, but if you live outside of San Francisco, a lot of people commute to work because it's so expensive to live there, but you have to put up with the traffic and the time to travel. Um, there's another thing she was going to say. Some states have really good healthcare programs, some don't. I will say this: if you're in a life or death situation, and you go to the hospital, it is illegal for a hospital to refuse you healthcare. They could get sued to the ground, and so basically, I watched some doctor videos. I watched Dr. Mike on YouTube. He's a really cool guy. He answers a lot of information, but he says that whenever someone goes into their healthcare, They don't look at health insurance. They don't look at how much money you make. They take care of you first and they worry about that later. He runs a program in a hospital that helps people who have trouble. And there are other programs that is state run and that's privately run that will help people. So there are definitely things out there. It may not be available across all the states. It's I guess America is weird like that. I can only speak about America here. I can't speak about India. So you're going to have to help me out with India here. And again, don't take anything as I say as absolute fact, because these are things I'm hearing. These are the things that I do believe are true in America. Again, if you think like, oh, you're hearing all these things, well, unless you personally experienced it, unless you personally seen it, you are hearing everything secondhand. So if you hear that your friend got this healthcare thing, that's still secondhand news, even though it might be true. So yeah, I mean, she ain't wrong, especially with California and probably even New York and maybe even Atlanta, Georgia. Again, the big cities, what she's saying is pretty much true. Now the rest of America, the not so big population and not so rich states, probably not so true. It's not maybe not as bad. So, and the way she's comparing that, like the places that I see here in India are like my hometown actually, or my hometown, my home country. Um, I don't know if she's necessarily comparing apples to apples here, but that doesn't change the fact that what she's saying could be true in India and is mostly true what she's saying about at least the state of California and the big places here. But that's really cool. I don't know if she really compared too much, but anyways, yeah, the photography thing, that is so weird. That is really weird. You don't take. I mean, it's. I will say, if you're taking a picture of the scenery with people there, I do that just because I like the scenery with the natural people being there. I'm not taking specifically pictures of people, but like to see a lively marketplace. That's amazing. Like especially if it's nice and colorful, which I'm sure people in India dress really nicely and colorful. I don't mean like gowns and stuff, but no, just the different colors and stuff. It's very vibrant. I didn't see anything like, yeah, uh, yeah, that. And oh, the one thing I remember now that I wanted to say was they're actually in California. There's this company that started up that builds homes for the homeless and will provide them with homes, which is like that's what I've always been thinking. It's like, dude, you can't just feed them. You have to provide them with homes so that they can get their lives off the life started, get back on track. But the weirdest thing is I heard it from two people and from that person that's created homes for people is that these people don't want homes. They want to be homeless. I'm My mind is freaking blown with that. It's like, why? They don't want to have homes. They want to be homeless, which is really weird. There are still other issues in America about homeless people, like mental issues, that America also needs to address. Well, yeah. I mean, these are not tents. These are actually better houses than what they have in California for the homeless. If this is for homeless people, this is really good comparatively, obviously. Um, but she's comparing the poor of India to what seems like the homeless in America, in California. So it's I don't think she's doing. I don't think she's fairly comparing things. But what she's stating about America is true, regardless of the comparison. California homeless crisis. Yep. Oh, and I guess another thing that I will give California a little bit of a break on is the fact that if you're ever going to be poor anywhere, California is the place to be because the weather is very nice over there. It's not ever really cold from what I hear, not very hot, and it's not always raining. It's like a very nice weather. So if you're ever homeless anywhere, California is the place to be. But New York City, which is for the north, I think they have maybe the second highest homeless population, and it's cold over there, very much so. So, yeah, can't again. I did a little bit of. I've been watching a lot of political stuff, and I've been hearing about this stuff. Yeah, I don't want to be a political. Okay, okay, that's it. That's it. I ramble on for too long. 30 minutes, Jesus. Okay, so that's all I have to say. Thanks for watching. If you like my content, please consider subscribing. Thumbs up, thumbs down below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next vid.